Hey everybody, first off, thank you so much for joining us today at Fuzey for our Masterclass in Reviews Part 2, a few simple ways to grow your business. Today we'll be looking at how increasing customer reviews by 5x transformed my business. We'll be speaking with Mike Harryman. Real quickly, I wanted to introduce myself once more. My name is Alex Boyce. I'm the co-founder of Fuzey, and I'm delighted to see you all today for our second workshop. Ultimately, this is another topic that's kind of at the top of our minds, reviews and how to make the most of them. As I said, I'm really fortunate to be here with Mike Harryman of Now EV. I'll let Mike introduce himself, but he's a local business owner who's built a great business, a leading provider and installer of EV charging equipment across Bedfordshire, England. And we've been working with Mike since July of last year, and we just have loved watching his business grow. Mike, obviously, you will be a better person to be able to speak to your experience and business to date than us. So take it away. We'd love to hear a little bit more about the business you've built and who you are.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, I'm Michael, owner of Now EV. I'm actually coming up to the end of my first year of trading. I used to be an electrician, so for the first 6 months I was sort of doing a bit of both, and then about 6 months in, Now EV took off and moved on to EV charging full-time, installing electric vehicle charge points, mostly domestic, bit of commercial. And yeah, I mean, I'm growing with the industry, so I'm in a good place. So yeah, it's good.
That's awesome. I feel like every time we speak, it's more and more, you just basically say, look, I can't deal with all the business that we've got coming in. So it's a good problem to have. And yeah, it's been really, really fun to see that all grow. Mike, I guess we can more or less hop in, but I think before we do that, what I'd love to understand is kind of like I guess a quick poll. So for the audience, over the course of the last 7 months, we'd be keen to understand how much people think Now EV's reviews have grown. So there's 4 options: 1.2x, 3.3, 5.7, and 7.4. Obviously, you've just started your business, right? So we understand that. You might be starting from the start. But anyways, we'll leave that to the audience to come back on. But before we get to the answer of that, Mike, I'd just be curious, like, what brought you into this business in the first place? Why do you do what you do?
So yeah, as soon as I left school, a family friend took me on as an apprentice electrician. So I didn't really enjoy it. Well, I didn't enjoy it at all. I was always looking to get out. And then obviously the EV industry sort of came in and just saw an opportunity. And yeah, I prefer it. I don't feel much like an electrician. So it's good. It's the same stuff, but yeah, it's good. It's good.
That's great. By the way, if you can hear a funny sound in the background, that's my dog drinking a lot of water all of a sudden.
I heard it earlier.
All right. Well, with that, I appreciate the background. I mean, I think we all have different ways of moose. Sorry. Starting and running a business, and it's been awesome to see. It's been awesome to see yours thrive. All right, so real quickly, I think just to hop into the poll and the answers. VF, we'll run into our first answer, which is I think one of the things we're really proud of, Mike, is that we've seen your reviews grow by 5.7 times, right? So you've basically gone from a base of walking around asking for reviews from people and seeing something very different. Let's come back to what that means and why that's important. But first, I'd love to kind of dig into 3 ways how reviews have changed your business. So I'm wondering, do you want to kind of quickly speak to your philosophy on reviews, what you've seen the impact to be at Now EV, and yeah, why do you bother?
So I've always known the importance of. So I use the Google listing, Google My Business listing. I've always known the importance of reviews and regular posting and everything, but I didn't really have a way of sharing it constantly and easily. So yeah, I mean, I knew the reviews were important, and I know that it helps with your listing and getting in front of people, and also people just, if they see X amount of reviews, 5 stars, it's pretty much a guaranteed inquiry compared to others who have 0 or low amounts. So I've always seen the importance in reviews, and yeah, Fuzey have helped.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, no, I mean, look, we agree. I mean, I think there's 3 key ways that we talked about a bit last week about, how reviews help. 1, being an essential form of word of mouth. 2, being free marketing. And 3, just basically boosting visibility online. Because you're right. I mean, as I think about my own life, anytime I want to go buy something new, find a new restaurant, find a new store, find a new, person to work with. I mean, the first thing I want to know is, have they worked with other people? Has that been helpful? And what's the impact? So
yeah,
so
I used to run a paid ad, and that just didn't work very well because it wasn't backed up by good reviews. This is right at the start. It didn't have the sort of organic and credibility, organic sort of presence and credibility behind it. So the paid ads didn't work well. And as soon as I started building up a good Google listing with solid reviews, they just come in and they don't cost me anything. So
that's awesome.
It's good.
Mike, do you still use marketing, and do you still think about, now that you've got the reviews, do you look at that as a compliment, or do you think that reviews could actually just kind of completely replace that?
At the moment, just because of how much work it's sort of coming in, I'm not really focusing on anything else. They're just coming in, and it's because of the reviews. I think they are. As soon as people do a search, if I'm at the top and the reviews are there, it's people inquire. So at the moment, it is sort of my only form of marketing. I have relationships with other sort of manufacturers who pass me leads, but for my own stuff, it's purely relying on reviews and the Google listing. That's
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think I think this type of word of mouth is huge, right? I mean, if we look at the stats, 87% of consumers read reviews to find local businesses, right? So you and I are not alone. If we think about the last couple months together, I think that the thing that we've been most excited for you about is that obviously there's been a huge influx in reviews, right? And the reason for that is twofold. 1, most importantly, you do an incredibly good job at what you do, right? I mean, your reviews say this to tell that story. I think we'll look at it in a second, but if memory serves, you got over 100, and all of which are 5 stars. So I mean, that's a bang on track record right there. And then obviously there's a super high success rate with actually getting people to leave reviews. So I guess one question for you, other than just doing a great job, is, do you have any kind of broad level advice on getting your customers to speak for you and vouch for you?
So I would, as soon as I get home after a job, I'd send the review out, the review link. I'd also mention it in person before I leave. I'd ask if they're happy. If they obviously, they do normally say yes. So I'd sort of drop the hint. I'm going to send them a link and tell them it'd be greatly appreciated. So I've sort of had that one-to-one with them in person. And then, when they get the link later on, it's they're expecting it. And if they don't leave it, send another one. Not too many. So yeah, cool. I think mentioning that I want a review before I leave the job, it gives a much better chance of getting the review.
That's a great shout. Okay, cool. No, so I think like anything, it's just reminders, right? My wife will tell you that I need to be reminded to do a lot of things, and I think a helpful reminder every now and then is always a good thing, irrespective of what it might be. So that makes a lot of sense. That's great. I think moving on, just to kind of think about free marketing for the business. It sounds like you've spent money on marketing before, and obviously now it seems like business is in a great place where this is kind of working for free. I mean, we've seen that a 1-star increase, which obviously you don't have to worry about, but many others do. I could lead to almost a 10% increase in revenue, which is a pretty wild stat, right? And obviously, as a result of your great work, we've seen your page views go up quite a bit. So I just wanted to kind of find out very quickly about how and if you've seen kind of a relationship between those reviews coming in and more page views on your site, and more leads as a result.
Yeah, I think it's the amount of reviews increasing, the views, because I've been doing regular posts and everything. I've been sort of doing the same work to the Google listing throughout the last 6 months, so I haven't upped what I'm doing on there. So the only thing that's changed is the amount of reviews. Maybe also people searching more So yeah, I think the reviews, obviously that's the only thing that's increased, and the only thing that's changed, and the reviews have gone up. They're going up every month. So
Well, good stuff. Well, great. Well, look, I mean, I think on that subject, it might be worth kind of just showing that evolution over time, right? I mean, when we started working together, back in July, obviously, you were getting the business off the ground and kind of setting everything up. And yeah, I think your intuition here is spot on, where that seems to be ticking up more and more and more as you've been kind of working with more people and ultimately getting more customers as a result, right? And I think that's huge. So I mean, I think the final piece is just kind of, visibility, right? I mean, I think this is exactly kind of what we're talking about. Everybody searches, heads to their kind of Google or search engine for information. Whether and where you appear is huge, and ultimately reviews are big in where you find yourself in search, right? Because more reviews is more visibility and more growth. So yeah, I mean, how much did you know about this, Mike, before you hopped in and started building Now AV, and B, started thinking about reviews with Fuzey?
So as soon as I started it, I knew that the online Google presence was going to be the key thing, because with it being a new industry, people are just not they're not aware. So the first thing they're going to do is search. It's not like asking for whether I'm an electrician. A lot of people don't remember that I am the Sparks, and they think that it's a completely separate thing, different trade. So yeah, they go straight to Google because they don't know where else to ask, they don't know who to ask or where to go. So I have tried a few things like handing stuff out, and I don't think I had a single response. So that quickly, I quickly stopped doing that and just focused online. So that was always the drive from the start. And then as I went, I just realised more and more that how important it was.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I think we've heard a pretty similar story from a lot of people. I mean, I talk about personal experience a lot in this, but Mike, when we first met in July, I talked to you a little bit about what the work that I'd done and we'd done with my mom's business in the U.S. And so much of that has been about like figuring out how to get found, right? Because ultimately, you've got people in your orbit that want to vouch for you and want to help you, but only so many people need EV chargers. Only so many people need skincare products, and ultimately, your job as a business owner is to figure out how to get more people, into your orbit and aware of the great company you've built. And that's exactly, I think what we think of reviews is doing. So I think on that,
it's really hard to get found and get online and be seen.
Totally.
I've tried social media, like I do everything myself. So everything I've tried, I've done, and I'm not a professional at these things. But the thing I have been able to make work is the Google listing reviews and sort of the posting. That's purely me, and it's working really well. Social media I'm not so great on, but I don't think it would have the same response anyway. So I'm happy with what I'm doing at the moment.
Well, we do enjoy giving you a like every now and then on Insta, so don't sell yourself short on that. But but on the Google side, I mean, that's right. I mean, like if we look at your, kind of how you've been placed, in broader Bedfordshire and Leighton in particular. I mean, if you search for EV installation and you're in your radius, like you are the first one that comes up, and that's because you've built a great website. It's because you're focused on the right content. It's also because you've really, really pushed it on the review side. You're pushing them out. You're responding to them super diligently. I mean, that's one of the things we've talked about throughout, right? I think you've responded to every single one. I don't want to speak for you, but is that right?
Is that the reviews? Do you mean?
Yeah.
I think I need to do it. It's built up quite a bit because I read there may be 20, but no, I do respond to every single one eventually, and I normally do it in chunks.
That makes sense.
I've been a bit slack on that, but I'll work on it.
Yeah, it's all right. That it builds up for everyone, but I think that's look, it's a great way to tell your customers that you appreciate it and build that out a little bit further.
I think I'm going to get Emily to do my partner. She's going to help with jump on Fuzey and reply to messages, and you've actually just given me another job for her. She can write reviews as well now. She can do so.
Well, you're a lucky man to have help in the family. So that's fantastic. Yeah, and look, I mean, same thing goes here, right? I mean, if we take a look at your listings in greater Leighton, it's pretty awesome. It's yeah. Anyways, we're wowed by what you've built here. I mean, you're 10x above anybody else with respect to reviews in your area. And I think that's obviously demonstrated a huge impact, right? More people trust you as a result. And I think that's it's a great one.
Yeah, I haven't done any searches and checked how I've been ranking in quite a while, so it's nice to see that I'm still up there.
There you go, man. It's still still at the top. So Mike, before we kind of head over to Q&A, I just wanted to have kind of one last question of like, how have reviews helped your business, right? Like at the end of the day, punchline, if you're sitting here a year ago and you could kind of tell Mike, at the beginning of Now EV, what you want to focus on in that regard. Yeah. I mean, how has the business evolved? What would you say that people should be thinking about? And
Yeah. So, I mean, I've had feedback from reviews from the start. I've always responded well and quickly to all my inquiries, and communications was always key for me. But the reviews, obviously, I've got a good record on reviews. So I haven't had any sort of negative feedback. It's all been positive, and it's always been about how quickly I've responded. So I've really pushed sort of responding. Obviously, Fuzey's helped with templates. I can just get back to people straight away, fire them out, and that's helped massively. And yeah, it's just communication. People just really, well, it depends what industry you're in, but I think it's the same for everyone. It's communication's key, and just respond as quick as possible. And yeah, that's my motto, basically.
Show that customer love.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
go above and beyond, basically. It's hard work, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. No, that's fantastic. Well, we appreciate your sharing these thoughts with us. I guess with that, maybe we can open up to the audience for any questions that anybody here might have on your experience or any other kind of questions that we can tackle. Otherwise, I got a couple as well on top of mind if anybody else has a question. All right. Well, I guess one question I have for you, Mike, is just about review platforms. So like, how do you think about, we've talked a lot about Google here. What other, kind of platforms have you used? Have you thought about Facebook? Have you thought about, any other socials or, anything else under the sun?
No. So Facebook reviews, I have a few on there, but I got a few on there to get the 5-star ranking, because if you have one review, you don't have a star rating, so you have to get a certain amount and then you get your stars. But no, I'm all in on Google reviews. I think being a service is the best thing. If you were to go to another sort of review platform, like Trustpilot or something, I think that's a little bit, well, it's better for much larger companies, and also maybe for companies selling products.
Yeah.
Lots of reviews, but because mine are sort of, a bit less, few of them, and there needs to be a bit more sort of a personal touch. Yeah, I just stick with Google. Maybe once I built up, I don't know, 200-300, then I might look at sort of getting it somewhere else and then being able to show them. But yeah, just Google.
Awesome. And what's the grand plan for Now EV now that you're scaling this beast? What's your plan going forward?
Yeah, that's been on my mind most of the year and then the end of last year. There's a grant for each charger at the moment, £350 for each customer. That's ending at the end of March. So I want to see how the sort of market responds to that. See if the prices stay, and see if the interest stays high as well, which I think it will. But until I sort of take people on or expand, I sort of just want to see how that goes. Baby on the way as well. So
congrats,
yeah,
man.
I've got a few things. I just obviously it's a big commitment employing someone. So
yeah,
definitely at some point this year there'll be a bit of expansion, I think, because it's a lot for one person the way it is. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, look, just to wrap up, as I said, I think we've, across Fuzey, we've gotten to know you as one of our, earliest partners in this endeavor of ours as well. We've loved watching your journey. We're super happy and delighted by all your success, and we appreciate your working with us along the way as well. So if there's two things just to kind of wrap up that I think came from the conversation, one is that I think you'd mentioned that reminding your customers from day one, delivering a great service obviously is first and foremost, right? But assuming that you're Mike and you're delivering on that promise, I've heard one, reminding your customers both at the time of service, but then immediately afterwards is important. And two, managing your Google presence and making sure that you're on top of that. Is that a good kind of summary of your top tips?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say sort of two. When I send an invoice, it's got a link for a review on there as well. But from the Fuzey platform, it's probably two, maybe three reminders. Don't want to annoy people.
Sure.
Force them to leave something sub 5-star. So two. Give it a few days in between. Well, for me, it's also, some people like to wait until they can use the charger before they leave a review. So
Makes sense.
I'll leave it a couple of weeks. Try and keep tab of who's been sent one, and just back the reviews up with regular posting and stuff like that. If you're
and managing that Google presence, right?
Yeah, if you're going to go for the Google route, then just do the whole thing. Post pictures, try and get customers to leave photos as well. If I upload a photo, it'll get 40 views maybe over a month. Customer uploads it, gets 40 in the first day. So to upload photos with reviews is good as well.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Actually,
it's a bit nice for them. So you sort of ask them once, and then if they don't do it, they don't do it. But
that's great. Maybe even in the process of asking for a review, you can basically say, "Hey, would you mind letting us know how you did? And can you leave a photo?" I've seen a lot of photos on your page of some very futuristic, EV chargers looking like they're from the next century. So it's
the
cool
easy
stuff.
probably is. Google. It depends what device you do it on. Google don't make it that as easy as they should to upload a photo. Some people, it says click to add a photo. Sometimes it doesn't. So it's a bit of that as well going on. So
yeah. Well, look, I mean, it sounds like you've done a great job. So kudos to you for the last year, and really excited for all you've got ahead. Mike, I just wanted to thank you so much for your time and for sharing your insights and experience with us. It's super helpful, and I know our customers and community really appreciates it. So thanks so much for the time.
Yeah, thank you too. Thanks, Fuzey. I mean, you've been a massive role in my expansion, my growth. So I mean, the way it is at the moment, I probably wouldn't be able to handle all of the new inquiries and ongoing customers. So thanks to you guys too.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to hear you say that, and excited for all that's ahead. Guys, until next time, I'm Alex. This is the Fuzey, how-to guide on how to grow your business through reviews. Mike, thank you again for your time. Thank you all, and we look forward to next time. Take care. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mommy?